You're about to listen to TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet. Hey, you over there. Sit a while and listen.
Who accidentally clicked on a link.
Did you accidentally were you like, man, I sure like racing and driving. I'm just going to type that into Google and see what happens. Oh, what is this? TADPOG race driving? I'm going to listen to that. It's not what you think it is.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I like.
But stick around. You might find something you like.
Racing, but not the letter G.
Also, why are you on the 5th page of Google results?
Yeah.
I types like I talks. Driving.
This is an episode of Tadpo, because we are also going to drop the G for this episode.
We're the Tadpo boys.
Yeah. We talk about shrimp sandwiches.
I'm pretty good with that.
It'd be a pretty short series, but I'm down to do it.
New catfish po' boys. That'd just be shrimp.
Oh, man, I don't know. It's not a po' boy unless it's shrimp, is it?
You could have a catfish bad boy. Bad boy?
That's what you call it.
I like to call him catfish bad boy.
Yeah, as long as you call it a bad boy, I'm okay.
That's what the girls used to call me. There's that catfish bad boy.
I feel like that's like a huge prank if you like give somebody a po' boy sandwich and it's not shrimp, it's catfish. It's like when someone asks for Dr.
They've been
Pepper.
Catfished.
Hey. I thought this sandwich was way too sexy for me. It's weird.
But yeah, this is Tyler and Dave Play Old Games.
Mm-hmm. And we're talking about race driving.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about race driving.
Right, yeah.
Not the broad topic, but the actual game.
An actual Super Nintendo game, because we randomly played through Super Nintendo games. We didn't actively choose to talk about this game.
No.
So it got randomly given to us. So we even delayed it a week.
Yeah, to give us time to prepare for the atrocity that is this video game.
So I was so happy. Anytime it happens, I'm so happy that this struck a chord with one of my favorite people ever, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, who wanted to come on and talk about this game.
It did. It's the game port of the 1986 Ray Liotta action film Race Drivin'. So you guys had me on. You guys didn't know this. It's a little known. No, it's this one. I have a history with this game. There's a good story involved in this, so I'm happy to be on and talk about it.
It's like an intro type story or a body of the writing type story.
No, I'm going to talk about my testicles for the intro story. I'll wait for the actual game when we get to the game.
Oh, yeah, because of the old snip.
Yeah.
Oh, please, let's go ahead, Phil. What have you been up to?
I
Recovering?
well, I guess I am recovering. I am in between virility right now. I get to go in January and deposit a cup of my semen, and they get to test it to see if it is still potent or not. But I got the.
I still need to do that.
You need to do that still?
I did not.
You didn't do it?
You just.
Were you like, it's good?
Oh yeah, it feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty barren.
That's a hell of a gamble to make, Tyler.
It's a hell of a game. You're right.
Yeah, it is.
Sloth.
I mean, for me, it sounds like with the instructions they gave me, I just need to come in a cup and then bring it to them and drop it off. By the way,
yeah, me too.
I cross-promote this.
Make love to a cup. We're a family podcast.
I cross-post this on my Facebook page, which has a lot of work contacts. So if you have clicked on this wondering what your friendly neighborhood newspaper editor does in his free time, hi, welcome. Sorry, if you want to skip ahead for 5 minutes and we can catch back up with race driving, but for now...
Quick, name names.
A segment we all love, Where Does Phil Come?
But no, the procedure went well. It was extraordinarily uncomfortable. I don't know. I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on how yours went, but that was Tyler, how yours went.
I was unconscious.
You were unconscious.
I was.
Was that...
Were they like, there's a risk you could die? And you're like, fine.
Yeah, you go ahead and knock me out.
That's how they were with my wisdom teeth. They're like, there's a chance you could die. And it's like, well, I don't want to be awake for this.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we all got to go sometime.
We all got a Michael Jackson one day or another. Come on.
God's got a plan for me, man.
Be it corona or anesthesia. I don't give
teeth. That's what I want my tombstone to say. Just wisdom teeth. No years, nothing. Just all people to try to figure it out in the cemetery.
No, because my boys are up close to the chassis, so the urologist was more comfortable doing it surgically than he was trying to do anything in office.
What do you mean in office?
Well, I know it's like you can just go in. Like at least I know. Phil, I don't know how
he just punches you really hard.
Phil, how did yours go? Did you just do it in his office?
Yeah, so I went to the urology clinic. They took me to one of the back rooms, and they prepped me. I guess. Well, I kind of came in prepped. I shaved myself prior. Shaved way more than I needed to. Like the entire
belly button to knees. Phil was just clean.
You just coated some boxer shorts with Nair and put them on overnight.
But yeah, they just laid me back and did the procedure right then and there. It took all of about 10 minutes, and it was done. I took a hydrocodone before I came in, and then they injected me with some sort of numbing agent, and we were good. So
it's like a dentist visit. Sounds like
that's how Casey said his went. They gave him like 2 Xanax, and then just numbed it and snipped it in the office.
Yeah, then give me some sutures that would kind of be absorbed, fall away, and said not to ejaculate for the next 2 weeks. I did not adhere to that advice, and I gave myself a week, and it felt pretty good. So I'm like, I'm gonna try this out. I read up a little bit in advance, and I saw things online saying that really you're fine after maybe 2 or 3 days, but the problem
to what, Phil?
To masturbate or
to pleasure
have sex.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, so
hi again, Phil's work friends.
Yeah,
Will's work friends.
But the issue that I was warned about was that the muscle can cause some inflammation and swelling from the contractions, and that is what happened, and it was extraordinarily uncomfortable for the next day or two. And then healing returned, and a week later I was pretty much back to normal. Except for a big sore on my top of my testicle.
They didn't turn black like mine did?
I had like maybe a golf ball sized black and blue spot that gradually went away, but there wasn't any like severe swelling or anything like that.
Good deal.
Yeah,
because I think my urologist told me I needed to like have like 20 evacuations.
Evacuations. That's a interesting word for it.
They just pull the fire drill like a bunch of times.
Gotta run. Oh, you mean cum doctor? Is that what you mean?
Excuse me, I'm the cum doctor. He's the PP doctor.
This is Bill my seat upon the earth, doc. Is that what you're saying?
So, I am due in January to make a deposit, and they gave me like this great big 8-ounce cup, and they didn't really tell me how much.
If you don't fill it up, it's not normal.
Wow.
I'm assuming I need to fill it up. So I've been one session at a time over the past couple of weeks. I've been slowly filling that thing up. We'll get it to the brim by New Year.
Yeah, don't forget to put it in the microwave before you bring it.
It's even worse than you have sex. All right, go drain over the cup. Push it out. Dave, what have you been up to?
Not that. not that. Henry's birthday was on Saturday, so we got him like way too much stuff. He got way too much stuff. We weren't thinking about, Christmas probably should be better than his birthday as far as gifts go. And also he turned 6, so we have to
reverse it for him. It's totally fine.
Right. So yeah, we have to do this.
Makes Santa seem like an asshole. So when he finds out, he's like, all right, good.
I abuse the fact that Santa Claus may or may not bring him gifts constantly. Like, yeah, because he's very strong-willed. He's a strong-willed boy. Mm-hmm. No surprise there, I don't think. And yeah, it's constantly like, am I going to have to call Santa Claus? It's 11 o'clock. You're supposed to go to bed. It's 11 o'clock, and I've caught you uploading YouTube videos. And it's like, A, I get it. B, go to sleep. C, am I going to have to call Santa Claus?
And that works?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't work as well as, one of his gifts for his birthday is, because here's the deal. This kind of goes back to like me catching him uploading YouTube videos at 11. When I caught him, I was like, give me your iPad. It's gone for the night. Go to bed. You'll get it back. We'll talk about it in the morning. So the next morning I was like, hey, I think it's really cool that you like to make videos and that you want to upload those to YouTube so that, Graham can watch them.
All your subscribers.
Yeah. And I think that's very neat. I like that. And I want you to keep doing that. But don't do it at 11 o'clock. Like, you got a bedtime, you got to go to bed and all that. So, and also your iPad is totally busted. He's got Nikki's old iPad that I got her for Christmas 10 years ago or longer. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever first gen iPad was, I got her one. And he has dropped it and mistreated it so many times that it's like spiderweb cracks and everything. And it's like we literally have packing tape like wrapped around it to keep the glass together. So I told him, I want you to keep doing this. And also I was like, the microphone's broken on the iPad. So I told him, I was like, dude, your audio sucks. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got my old iPhone 6S that I've replaced with a newer phone. And you'll notice I didn't say the model because it's not an impressive model. I will give you that phone as long as you promise to take care of it. It's got a working microphone. It's got a better camera. You're good to go. So that phone, he got that for his birthday. We got like an OtterBox and put it in there, and it's like immediately he wants to take it out, and it's like, no, it has to stay. So like now, like everything is, he loves that phone.
I know it feels better bareback, Henry, but you gotta keep it up there.
Yeah, at least until you're old enough to like treat it responsibly. So yeah, that phone is like more leverage than Santa, because it is like anytime there's a thing where it's like, because he wants to keep it in his room at night, and it's like, no, you're uploading videos at 11, and he's like, well, when am I supposed to upload them? Just, you're a kid, like anytime. Like any
I don't have time for that.
Literally,
you got me doing shit from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. I don't got any me time.
Well, he asked me that, and I was like, it was like 7 o'clock, and I was like, how about right now? And it was weird, just the look on his face was like, oh, I could do that right now. So that's when he did it. And so like now the deal is like, because Nikki told him, if you behave and you listen well and you do that for long enough, then you could have your iPhone, and you'll have proven that you can follow instructions and you can keep your iPhone in your room. So that's kind of like his thing now. And that has way more weight than Santa Claus, because he cares more about that phone than he cares about what potentially
vague threats.
Than Santa. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, so that's been what I've been up to. I failed to mention last week, I was very proud to have finally beaten Super Metroid. It's taken 3 attempts.
Oh, okay.
It was the SNES Club Game of the Month for Discord last month, and I got to the point where I'd gotten to 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever, and then I was like, you know what? I don't like this at all. So I'm just going to watch a video and do exactly what the guy in the video does. And I didn't enjoy the experience at all, but I did finish the game.
Good deal.
And then this month, the game of the month on the Discord is Super Mario World, which I 96 starred for like the first time. And so since then, I was like jonesing for more Super Mario World. So I started playing Learn to Kaizo, which is like a ROM hack for like a entry level into like Kaizo Mario. So
what is Kaizo Mario?
It's kind of like extreme sports Super Mario World. Yeah, it's doing things like that you see like in Mario Maker videos, you know, where you got like all the wild stuff.
The anxiety inducing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. And it's like, I don't know if I'll stick with it, but it's definitely in my wheelhouse of do the same thing for 2 hours to try to complete it. It's like that level, you know. So, but Learn to Kaizo is not like that. Learn to Kaizo is like baby's first steps into this weird and wacky world. So,
Okay,
I don't know. That's been fun.
Cool.
Don't know that I'll stick with it. Don't know that I have the fortitude to stay with it.
Have you fallen out of favor with Hades?
You know, I did 5 runs of Hades, and then something pulled me out of Hades. Oh, it was Among Us and Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia pulled me out of Hades like hard because like there was like a stretch, and I still want to play Phasmophobia, but there was a stretch where it's like I might play with random people on the internet. Like I wanted to play the game so bad, where it's like I might just join a public server and just see what happens. So yeah, I need to go back and get the good ending, the true ending for Hades. That's a great game. You've been playing it recently, haven't you, Phil?
I have been playing the ever-loving piss out of it. It's non-stop. That's what I'm doing if I have any sort of leisure time. And it actually fits into my schedule pretty well. At least it had been up to a certain point. It was, you know, a good 30 to 40-minute chunk of time, but as I've been getting further and further into the game, the runs have been taking a lot longer. It's now, you know, it might take me upwards of an hour to fully complete a run, so it's not something I can really sit down and knock out before either the wife or the son come and try and find me.
I don't want to turn this into a Hades podcast, but I do. Who is your favorite god or goddess in Hades? Like like for boons and all that.
For boons, probably Athena.
Yeah,
because
great.
Defense means so much in that game that you know it's all about survivability, and if you can get like her special that calls down, you know, impervious armor for 20 seconds, it can make or break a boss battle.
So who's your favorite god or goddess outside of boons? Which one, like, are there any of them that you're happy to see?
Poseidon's kind of cool. I like their take on Poseidon. Like, I'm used to seeing Poseidon portrayed as kind of like Zeus Jr., just another bearded dude, and he's more this...
Underwater Zeus.
Yeah.
Scuba Zeus.
And he's kind of this, I don't know, this, like, subtly boastful, bombastic, clean-shaven, but he's got kind of like that, the monarch type of, like, long, pointy, chin beard. The voice actor for it, I really enjoy the voice acting for him and for all the gods and goddesses. It's just, I haven't been enraptured by a game like this in a long time.
It's a really good game.
It is really good. It is really good.
I'll stop asking you questions about it.
Okay. I had one question. Where does the term roguelike come from? Do either of you know? Yeah, because I know this game is a roguelike where you play through it, you die, you spend your currency on upgrading yourself, and then play through it again. Where does that genre's name come from? Because I don't really recall what was the genesis of that type of game. I just know that I play it a lot.
There was an ASCII art game. I don't know what it came out on. I don't know if it was originally programmed for like an Apple or what. But there was a game called Rogue that was all just done with ASCII art, and it was essentially that. It was a Rogue. It was the first Rogue game, and it's like you go through. It's not text based. There's visual representations with letters and symbols, and you go from room to room, and you just try to see how far you can get.
Okay, cool. Now you know.
See, I would have thought it was original like AD&D where you're the rogue. You know, you have good skills, but everything's going to kill you very quickly. So you're just trying to loot everything before you die.
I mean, it has to have roots in Dungeons and Dragons, because it's like all these role playing games for like video games have roots in Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, even like JRPGs. I mean, and it's like, all of that kind of stems from D&D. And I think that's really cool, because it's like a lot of the programmers and developers were just like, I want to play D&D, but like all the time. And like, I don't want to have a group of people, and because we're adults, and you know, like there was, I can't remember who it was. Gosh, I wish I could, but there was like, a whole development team started because somebody would bring a old, like at the time, a new computer, but they would bring a desktop computer over to D&D sessions so that they could like manage inventory and stuff. And then I guess they just got the idea where it's like, well, I guess we should probably make a Dungeons and Dragons video game. Right?
We'll have our computers here writing down items.
Right.
I don't think I didn't do anything super eventful over the week. I've talked about how I finished Borderlands 3. I got all caught up on that.
I don't think so. You're done?
I'm done. I've done all the season, the main game, the season 1 DLC. The season 2 DLC only has one thing out, and I think it's kind of dumb. It's called Arms Race. So 2 characters sort of narrate you playing through it again for like
the game,
more loot. Yeah, just going around playing, and they say
so
shit.
It's New Game Plus, essentially.
Sorta.
That's DLC.
Well, I mean, you can. Well, just go on. To my understanding, you sort of play through it again, but now they're commentating like you're in an arena or something. Like,
yeah,
everything I've read is like, this isn't worth the season pass.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like, if you beat Chrono Trigger and then Square Enix is like, hey, you can pay us $15 and you can play this game again and fight Lavos anytime you want.
Yeah, you can do it again. Yeah, there might be some more endings. You can just experiment.
Yeah.
But I love the main game. I love most of the DLC. The last 2 bosses in the Mind of Krieg DLC were not fun, like at all. And I looked up videos on YouTube, and everybody was pretty much, yeah, like these last 2 bosses just aren't fun. But everything else is pretty good. So
what now then?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah, maybe for Christmas I might pick up Outer Worlds and Hades, but for now, nothing.
Hades is really good. Yeah. I think you would like Hades a lot.
No, I do too.
I really think you'd like Hades a lot.
Yeah, it scratches the same Rogue Legacy itch, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna wait until Rogue Legacy 2 is done, and then I'll jump on.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a time frame on that? Because Harold Arthur ended up purchasing that with his own money and played it all of 4 times, and then I haven't seen him play it since. So we got that, but I haven't picked it up.
I don't know.
From what I understand, they updated it somewhat regularly, and they'll be done sometime next year.
That's not too bad.
So yeah, not too bad.
I'll wait until it's done.
I'll wait. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely pick up Hades, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It scratches a lot of itches that I think you would dig. Yeah.
Okay. No, it looks good, and I love Supergiant. So
yeah.
Probably need to also play Transistor and Pyre. So
I don't know. I probably should as well, but it's like I started Transistor, and it's like I think if I had the choice of like just playing Hades again or Transistor, I'd probably just play Hades again. Yeah. Hades is really, really good. Yeah, and it's super cheap. It's $20, and it's like I think I said this on the podcast before, but it's like one night I was playing it in bed, and Nikki's like, "Do you feel like?" Is that a good game? Like, do you feel like you get your money's worth out of it? And it's like, I feel like I owe them more than $20.
All right. Well, you guys want to bite this car bullet?
Yeah, a bullet to kill a car.
Yeah. Or, slightly driving off course. Whatever. Do you hear that, Dave?
I do hear that. It sounds like, I don't know what kind of bullet you would use to kill a car. Probably like if a silver bullet kills a werewolf, then
A wall bullet. It worked against Dale Earnhardt.
Ooh, take that. Got him. Of course, I hear that wall bullet, which ushers in a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. Okay, everybody. Race Drivin, Drivin apostrophe, is a driving arcade game that invites players to test drive several high-powered sports cars on stunt and speed courses. So this is today we're going to be talking about the Super Nintendo version.
There are a lot.
Yeah. But
Some might say too many.
There are, yes. This game has its roots in the arcade. It is the sequel to 1989's Hard Drivin'.
Also fucking dumb. Like it's just, please go on. I'm interrupting you too much.
You're fine. No, I am very. I want you to let it out. I want you to let it out. Let the hate flow through you.
The names are so dumb, and it is everything I thought it would be in its quality of dumbness.
Perfect.
I wasn't wrong. Thinking this was so dumb that it was going to be bad. I was not wrong.
It is the sequel to 1989's Hard Drivin'.
That's also so dumb.
Which definitely sounds like something I might have watched on HBO as a kid after 11 o'clock. Hard Drivin'. And was part of a new generation of games that featured 3D polygon elements. Unlike most racing games of its time, it attempted to model real-world...
It decided to be bad.
It attempted to model real-world car physics in the simulation of the movement of the player's car. Like Hard Drivin', the game is unique among... yes?
Among dumb titles.
The game is unique among video games in that it includes a true force feedback steering wheel. Like, once again, this is the arcade version. An ignition key. A 4-speed shifter and 3 foot pedals. An accelerator, a brake, and a clutch. Released in August 1990, approximately 1,200 units were produced at the time of its release for roughly $9,000 each. So wait, so I don't think so far. I feel like there's nothing wrong because I haven't played the arcade game, but this sounds like an early version of Cruisin' USA to me.
Yeah,
is what it kind of sounds like. I never played this in the arcade. So now we get to the real meat of it.
Spoiled. Rotten. 4 weeks in the back of the fridge.
Pixel mosaic over it. Breath of the Wild style meat.
2 frames per second meat.
Yes. Yes, slowly cooked. Race Drivin', according to Wikipedia, was ported to a number of home systems in the mid-90s, including the SNES, Amiga, Game Boy, Genesis, and Saturn. In 2005, it was included in the Midway Arcade Treasures 3 collection for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Shit, I should have played this on the GameCube.
Is treasures in quotation marks in that?
No, but there's an asterisk behind it.
I went to college with a girl who referred to her virginity as her carnal treasure she would someday give a man.
Her carnal treasure?
Her carnal treasure.
I don't know how that makes me feel.
Not her Karnov treasure.
I'll give a man my Karnov treasure.
20 signed copies of Karnov. Did she work for Data East, or was it just
well, it turned out she was lying the whole time that she said she was a virgin, so it was all for nonsense.
Well, if you use the phrase carnal treasure, there's probably a good chance.
It's like, okay. This isn't like the convent. You don't have to lie to us. It's fine.
Carnal Treasure was definitely a show I watched on Cinemax.
Yep.
So that's what Wikipedia has to say about the game.
Yep.
Doesn't really speak to the quality so much, or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Phil, what is your story about this game?
So, my story kind of, it predates the Super Nintendo, because you guys were always, at least I think, Dave, you were like an action figure type of kid growing up. That was your main
For sure.
main thing. I was a car guy. I did Hot Wheels. I thought slot car racing was the coolest thing for like a 5-year stretch of time. I thought anything like just. Do you remember there was a racetrack that came out around Christmas time called the Super Duper Double Looper that I vehemently asked for Christmas and ended up getting it for Christmas. It's kind of like it's essentially the slot car version of this game. You build the tracks, it has these like stunt loops, and you race the cars on it, and that's it. But I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So this type of game really, really drew me in when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old when it first came out. I looked up some old footage from the arcades. The arcade version of this game was really good. Was for the time was really good. The actual gameplay was smooth. It wasn't anything like the 3 frames per second that you see on the Super Nintendo. Everything about it was completely. It felt revolutionary for the time, having the polygon cars, having the crash replay, having the loop-de-loops and the stunt tracks, and being able to play those, and then having like an actual car cockpit. You mentioned it was kind of like proto Cruis'n USA. To me, it almost feels like proto Gran Turismo, where it's trying to be a simulation where you have a steering wheel that actually has some force feedback. You steer it too hard to the left or right, it's going to resist that. And the fact that you have a clutch and you have to actually use the clutch to shift up and down, and you can stall out the car when you're trying to do that, which, for me was awful, and I only played as the automatic car when I actually played it in the arcade version. But yeah, so like I saw this in the arcades all the time, and it really, really enraptured me. So when I got my first Super Nintendo, like the Christmas that it came out, and I got the version that it came with Street Fighter 2 and nothing else, so I played the hell out of that for a while, and then eventually I was able to purchase, I can't remember if it was for a birthday or if it was for the next Christmas, but I was able to purchase a new game, which was a huge, huge big deal, doubling my library of Super Nintendo games. The first thing I'd be able to buy, and I had narrowed it down to Race Drivin, and what had come out recently, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
All right.
So, oh my God.
Which path did you take, Phil?
Literally, like the widest berth in quality, arguably the top Super Nintendo game versus arguably the worst Super Nintendo game. I'm sure we'll get to that.
Of course, I can't wait.
Yeah. I ultimately chose Legend of Zelda, which I felt put me on the path that I am currently on today. Whereas if I spend my like precious currency of being able to get my own video game, and I buy this piece of garbage that has very little in common with the actual arcade game, I become a disillusioned gamer. I stop gaming whatsoever. My entire life, hobbies, everything changed about me. I become a successful businessman. I become I feel like this is a very, very...
It's your sliding doors moment.
It's a divergent point in my life.
I want Dr. Strange to tell me what your life would have been like. Yeah.
Me too. What happens if I buy Race Drivin, and where does my life go from there? But that's the whole story of why I'm on here, is that I had this seminal moment of choosing between these two games, and I eventually, as of last Thursday, actually got myself a copy of Race Drivin, and I played it for all of about 15 minutes with the family. Harold Arthur described it as, I think the intro music was the best part of the game, is what he thought.
I don't know.
He thought the game was pretty garbage, except for he thought the kind of like the rock music that you get at the beginning of the game, which is not there for the actual game. You just get blank sound with the hum of the engine, which doesn't go up or down, because when you press the accelerator on a car. No, for the Super Nintendo, it's just a straight solid.
The one of the two songs in the game is pretty good. Well,
that's probably the one.
This game.
That's probably the one that Arthur was talking about. It might not be the actual intro song, but like the car select song or something.
But what I think is best is the instant replay from when you crash, because it really puts into perspective
what the fuck just happened?
Exactly why the Super FX chip existed. This is a case study in like why the Super FX chip existed, because this game does not have that.
Yes,
and it is trying to do Star Fox style like visuals, and it's just not gonna happen the way that it needs to happen, because it tries to render everything, and it does render it. It just does it very, very slowly. But the instant replays are great, because when you wreck, inevitably you will wreck a lot if you play this game, because it's very difficult to control, and it's also very difficult to tell what is going on, because the frame rate is literally 1 to 3 frames per second.
Do I have gas?
Yeah, but see,
does oil matter?
They try to trick you, because there is a dashboard. So all of this is first-person view. There is a dashboard, a very complicated dashboard with a lot of switches and dials on it. I'd like to read to you. This ridiculous dashboard has lights for fuel, oil. Maybe you guys can tell me what amp means.
Ampules. It's the electricity. I don't know what that is.
We'll go with that. I don't know. Phil, you're the car guy. What amp?
Is that like proto wet ass pussy? I'm not sure.
No, that's map. There's temp, belt.
Hey,
how's your belts?
Your belt light. Yeah.
And HZRD. Hazard, presumably. These lights mean nothing. They mean nothing at all. They're literally there for decoration.
My eyes.
Seems
simulation.
The lights mean nothing.
There is a steering wheel that is being controlled by, as Laud Mulaney Dennis pointed out, tiny orange hands, which makes us wonder who is behind the wheel.
That was by far the best graphics of the game, I felt, were the pixel graphic hands going 10 and 2 left and right as you turn the wheel. Everything else aged very, very poorly, but the pixel orange tiny hands they still hold up.
They aged poorly. Everything else aged very poorly. So there was somebody else who wanted to join us to talk about race driving, and that was Pinball Archmage Chris Edler. Congratulations on your marriage. And unfortunately, due to COVID and 2020 being 2020, not with Barbara Walters, it was not possible to work out. So
he was like, I want to come in. We were like, better not bring that goddamn mask over. If you do, no mask around here, motherfucker. Come on in.
So he had a personal history with the game, and he asked if it would be okay if he wrote something and we read it on the air. And really, I think in defense of this game.
The Super Nintendo version or the arcade version?
I have not read it because I didn't want to come in with more knowledge than you guys had. So I wanted to read it blind. Chris writes, when I heard Tyler's reaction to the randomizer's choice of race driving, I felt like I had to step in and try to defend this pillar of my childhood. Since
and then abandoned it and did not show up because I realized there was no point and no hope.
Since COVID is making in-person appearances almost impossible, I decided to write in. As long as I can remember, I have been a car person. I grew up going to car shows with my dad and grandpa. My dad would listen to NPR's bastion of dad jokes, Car Talk, on Saturday mornings, a tradition I kept up much to my wife's dismay. I also played with Hot Wheels and would try to get my mom to buy me a new one with every trip to the grocery store.
They're really cheap. It shuts you up. So I did too, because my mom was like, 98 cents and you shut the fuck up for an hour? Wonderful.
No,
yeah, throw it in.
Hot Wheels are a godsend. The Hot Wheels are a godsend. Yeah, because they're cheap and it will occupy a small child for one length of a shopping trip.
It still works for birthday presents too. It's like you got a birthday you're going to and you have got all of 30 minutes to pick out a gift. Just grab a handful of Hot Wheels, toss them in the sack.
And it also works for Secret Santa gifts. I received my Secret Santa today. That person's going to get $25 worth of Hot Wheels. By the way, if you're listening to this, you should have received your Secret Santa email giving your recipient.
Yep.
Try to get that in the mail soonish. Soonish would be good.
Okay. I got Melissa to sign up too, so.
Nikki signed up as well.
Sweet.
Yeah. Chris continues, I would watch the bland car test and reviews on PBS Motor Week on rainy Saturday afternoons. I watched the Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider all the time. I didn't care for the plot.
So now I'm racist and I like cheeseburgers when I'm drunk.
I didn't care for the plot. I just wanted to see those cars doing car things. David Hasselhoff single-handedly took the wall down. So
yeah,
you need to check it.
My entire back is a tattoo of Turbo Teen.
Chris continues, I can remember walking through my neighborhood as a kid and being keenly aware of what types of cars every person on the block owned. If I didn't know the person who lived in the house, I would simply describe it as, quote, the Ford Probe house, end quote, or the Chevy Camaro house. I still do this.
A probe is what Miller drove in high school. So there we go, yeah. The white probe.
Did no one on your street win the Geo Metro from the NES Championships, Chris? Chris continues, I still do this when I walk the dog in my neighborhood today. Walking past the Chevy El Camino house is always a highlight. Now imagine this young Chris going to the mall arcade and seeing the hard Drivin arcade cabinet for the first time. I always liked racing games, but this was a simulator. You hit the start button, then had to turn a key to start the car. That little touch blew my 11-year-old mind. The arcade cabinet also had a stick shift and a clutch. You could choose a manual transmission, and if you didn't use the clutch correctly, you would stall the car just like in real life. Once you did manage to get the car moving, you were greeted by a force feedback steering wheel that completed the simulation experience. All this realism did come at a price. The game was $1 per play. Wow. Wow. In early 90s money?
It was a $9,000 cabinet, so they got to recoup their money somehow.
Yeah.
What year did this come out?
Hard
in the arcades.
In the arcade, hard driving. I don't know. I could guess. Or we could look it up. I have no idea.
I'm going to look at the inflation calculator. I want to know back then what $1 was for now.
All right. Well, I'm on it. Hard driving is a 1989 driving video game.
Back then, each play would have cost you $2.10.
Okay.
In today's dollars.
All right. So we're looking at around at least $18,000 for the cabinet itself.
Yep. An inflation rate of 110%.
Wow. Okay.
From 89 to now.
So $18,900 is how much that cabinet would cost in 2020 dollars.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, they had some costs to recoup.
No, $2 a play. When you get crashed for no reason, it's fine.
And this is not, we're taking a break from Chris's essay. This is This is an arcade style racing game, which means that you do put the money in and you get a set amount of time to play. And you can earn more time if you reach checkpoints on the course or if you cross the finish line on the course. And essentially the game just keeps going and going and going until you run out of time.
They port that wonderful feature over to the console.
Yes.
Nothing like playing 30 seconds and then having your time run out and having to start over again.
Where I've heard the Super Nintendo was probably the most brutal in all the ports for time constraints.
Which is kind of like you do your 30 seconds, you've paid your debt to society, you no longer have to play Race Drivin, which is the most generic name. I mean, you could possibly do.
It could not get worse.
It is so difficult to remember the name of this game because it is so generic. Like when I was playing this on Twitch, I literally at one point called it Hard Racing because I got hard driving and car vibing, and I got I can't keep these generic terms. Pairings
like drive a car is the only thing that could work.
Drive-a-car. You dumb kid. Signed, Dr. Atari.
I like all my stores to be what they are. Restaurant, nail painting, housewares. That's just what it is. It's Lowe's or Home Depot. Fuck that. Just tell me what it is.
They should have just named this Car Simulator.
car Simulator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris continues, because it was $1 per play, I didn't get to play as much as I would have liked. I was thrilled when the hard drive port came to the Genesis a few years later. Playing at home, of course, you lose all that immersion of the arcade cabinet, but what you gained was the freedom of unlimited play. Playing hard driving at home, my focus was on the instant replay feature. After every crash, you are greeted with a bird's eye view of your failure, complete with polygonal fireball and explosion sound. I like to put a pin in that. Several people mentioned when I was streaming this game, the SNES version of hard driving. Race driving.
It just makes me so mad, Dave. It makes me so mad.
I can't remember the name of this game. These games. Race driving. When you crash, several people said, "Oh, that crash sounds like somebody shitting their pants."
Sport. Yeah.
And this was multiple people over the course of 2.5 hours.
I thought it sounded like a muffled pie hitting someone, like a cream pie that's going.
Muffled Pie is my new Steam name. That's pretty good. If you end up not using it, I'd like to. Chris continues, trying for the most spectacular head-on collision, flying off the track in the middle of the loop, or just hitting the cow by the barn to hear it moo entertained me for hours. As the years went...
entertained me for hour.
2 of those 3 things you couldn't do on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
I ran over the cow. Nothing. There are no cars coming at you, as far as I can recall. I don't think
you kind of see cars at the beginning of the quote unquote race. Like you're not racing other cars
over by Sam's.
Yeah. Well, like the cars that you see in the beginning of the race take off, and then the game can't render the polygons well enough that they just turn into wire frames and then evaporate into the distance.
The arcade cabinet, they actually had cars driving against you on the other side of the lane, so you could hit them if you don't stay in your lane.
That sounds much better than the port. Like I've never played the arcade version. I've got no personal history with this game, but it sounds to me like these ports were a mistake.
They should not be. No,
they should not be. And it's like reminiscent because it's Atari, and it was
heralds of bad decision making.
Yeah, I mean it's like because this is Atari, and it's like, do you guys not remember crashing the video game market by flooding home consoles with poorly crafted video games?
We're crashing one way or another, son. I mean, race driving.
It's like you're the reason that like. Japan like got a foothold in the video game market for North America, which thank God that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe try a little harder 10 years down the road. Learn from your mistakes.
No, I've just got, there's all this goodwill. How are we going to spend it? We got to just ruin some of it.
Atari's like post World War II Germany, who's like, can we get Hitler back in?
I was watching a video on hard driving and race driving that said the hard driving port for the Commodore 64 was developed in 3 weeks by one person.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you think the Super Nintendo version is bad, it's the tip of the iceberg. There are much worse versions out there. Incidentally, the Game Boy version, much better than the Super Nintendo version. And at least in terms of like frame rate and sound, it's actually a better game, even if it is, monochrome.
Because of course I only played the Super Nintendo version, but I wanted to see about all the others. So there's one guy who had it's like race driving Battle of the Ports, where he compared like 8 different ports, and the Super Nintendo was like bottom of the barrel, like one of the worst when it comes to time constraints, because you're having to go like 120 miles an hour trying to get these times, and it's like super tight. It's almost unplayable.
It's very tight.
But the bottom was the Amiga.
What was up with the Amiga?
Just the controls and the frame rate, everything it was essentially unplayable.
I played the Genesis version, and it's way smoother than the SNES version. Like way smoother. You get 6 frames per second.
Hell yeah!
Pushing the limit. That's blast processing, baby. That's blast processing. The problem was the problem. Wow, you brought us Chick-fil-A. This is wild. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, not you, Phil. Melissa. Thank you, Melissa.
I am sad.
I didn't get a water.
Would you like a water?
She just assumed I was drinking. She assumed correctly. Thank you, my love.
That's super nice of you. Thank you. The Genesis version. So the Genesis version like renders all the polygons way smoother, but like what they decide to do, I guess, to make it run smoother is just like remove things like the ground. And it's like, and it is just like, it is harder than the Super Nintendo version because it is like, what is going on? Things are like blinking in and out of existence. You can't tell if
you just need to think outside the box, man.
I know.
You're just thinking you gotta drive on a road.
No, I know. It's true. I really do need to stretch my creative muscle.
Things are subject to gravity.
But it's,
in this simulation driving game,
the controls, as bad as they were on the Super Nintendo version, the controls in the Genesis version were like way more sluggish. It is possible. And also, in order to shift gears, you had to like press up and C at the same time.
Is there more Chris Edler letter? Did we just talk all over it? Sorry about that.
A Chris Ledler, if you will.
No, actually, I really like this because like Chris's letter is lending great structure to this discussion.
It's almost like he's here chiming in.
Yeah, I'll credit myself on that. Thank you. Chris continues, as the years went on, 2 games filled the hard driving void for me. Gran Turismo and Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo offered the thrill of driving mundane economy cars to the limit and brought back the replay feature I love so much in hard driving. This, coupled with the thrill of upgrading a muffler or a set of tires, offered hours of entertainment. I'm not laughing at you, Chris. I'm just laughing at the idea of me getting enjoyment out of that.
Very different definitions of fun.
But it's like if
my brother fucking loves Gran Turismo though, so he's on this wavelength.
But I can kind of get it because if you look at it as like an RPG, you're essentially upgrading your chest piece and your leggings.
No, this has a rare drop of boots I really want.
Mm-hmm.
You get an extra 15 horsepower out of your Geo Metro, and you can all of a sudden, gain an extra $100 per race. It's great. No, I love the Gran Turismo games.
Chris continues. For me, GTA 3 was the ultimate incarnation of hard driving, Except now I could drive any vehicle from a motorcycle all the way up to a city bus, trying to incite as much mayhem as possible. I know hard driving and race driving isn't for everyone. And for people who don't like racing games,
most people actually,
they have to be especially punishing to endure. But for aspiring young car nerds like me, these games were a way to experience that thrill of a driver's license that seemed eternally far away at 12 years old. Thank you for your service playing the boring, slow frame rate shit show known as race driving on the SNES. The world needs your selfless sacrifice now more than ever. Keep up the good work, and Tropical Capricorn.
Is this
Thank you, Chris.
Is this technically a race, like a racing game? Because who are you racing? There's no finish to this. Like
the
you said,
greatest opponent,
your
yourself.
sanity.
Yeah,
there you go.
But like, there is no. This is a simulation in much of the strictest sense of the term, except for the fact that you're going over impossible stunts, which is it's kind of weird. I liked it at the time, but looking back on it, like, why are you trying to do a simulation with a clutch and stalling out and things like that, while also having a loop-de-loop and corkscrews
Yeah.
and like all this other fantastical things? It's a bizarre juxtaposition, to say the least.
Well, and it gets really frustrating too, because it's like, I don't know if this is how it works in the arcade, because I never played the arcade version, but on the SNES, the loop-de-loop is essentially a hollowed out hexagon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you go off road and like you gotta hit that loop at a really high speed. That makes sense. Okay. I know you probably aren't, and first of all, you're never gonna be able to do this in real life, I guess. I don't know. I've never tried it. But if you don't hit the loop at full speed, you have to like throw it in reverse, back up, try to be like, am I far enough now to gain enough speed to go through the loop?
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like that scene in Austin Powers where he's riding that like the golf cart in the hallway. And it's because it's like, if you don't get up to speed, you'll know it, because like I would hit the loop and the loop would just like push me back, like physically just be like, no, you're not fast enough. We're not even gonna let you try to go up. We're gonna bump you back.
It reminded me of, have either of you seen this documentary called like Action Park?
No, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Because I've watched bits and pieces of it, and one of the water park rides at Action Park was a loop-de-loop. And that's a bad idea generally, because you didn't get enough speed going up through it. So what would happen is they'd get to the top of the loop and all the kids would just fall down. Yeah. And it said like there was like teeth jammed in the plastic and shit, like blood everywhere, because they would all just crack ribs, like falling down and then just like falling down the rest of the way. Like it was awful. Like I don't think anybody died on that ride, but
on that ride,
multiple people died at Action Park. Usually like a death a year at least.
It's the Jackass simulator.
Yeah. So it was it's a very interesting documentary, and a guy wanted to make his own theme park with no rules, and he did it, but then they were like, oh, you have to have insurance. No one would insure him, so he's like, oh, okay, made his own insurance company so that he could then insure himself and open his park.
First rule of theme park, don't talk about theme park.
Yep.
Second rule of theme park, physics don't exist here.
Nope. Lifeguards and physics don't exist.
Both things we don't pay for here.
So I have to ask myself, though, do I feel this is the worst game on the Super Nintendo?
Oh. Do you?
Do I feel it's hard? It's hard.
It's hard driving.
It's hard
It's hard driving. It's hard thinking.
I can appreciate that what the arcade game of this did, but this port for the Super Nintendo is fucking atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, I think this is the second worst game on the Super Nintendo.
Second?
Street Hockey?
Street Hockey
Yeah,
95.
I agree.
Still reigns
Yeah.
worst game on
I
the
think
Super
Street
Nintendo.
Hockey 95 is worse than this game.
I can at least sort of play this game.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot in any way play Street Hockey 95. And that's the difference. So yeah, second worst game on the SNES, in my opinion.
All right, let me throw this in. Because I think it's one of the worst games on the Super Nintendo for sure. Is it worse than Road Riot 4-wheel drive?
No.
So
Really?
then it's the third worst.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, it is worse than Road Riot 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I don't know about that.
Because I can at least, like, that game's not fun. It just sucks, but I can play it. This game, I feel like, is you can just barely sort of plod your way through it.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know, man, but I think Road Riot has the same failings that this game does, and that it's like trying to do polygonal tracks, and the frame rate suffers so bad from it that it is unplayable. I guess it just depends on whether or not you want to shift.
Yeah.
Because you can shift and race drive it.
What say you, Phil?
I feel like the complete lack of personality of any sort of anything that makes this stand out really, really makes this one of the worst games. I mean, I haven't played 4-wheel drive, so I can't compare it, but like the fact that there is no racing component, it's just a time trial, and even then, it's just race until you run out of time. There's no music when you're racing, it's just the drone of the engine. It's the cardboard box cars that you see on the track, and then when you get the replay, you get 4 different cars to choose from. Well, 3 different. You get a roadster, a speedster, and a somethingster. What's the other one?
Always a stir.
You get a roadster, you get a speedster, and then
And a Chucky Finster.
Chucky Finster, a big brave dog. You get a Sportster, Roadster, and Speedster.
Yeah, and one of those is manual and auto. The other 2 are only manual. But
yes, the Sportster is either manual or automatic, and that is, according to Cthusiast Jeff in Twitch chat, the Sportster was a Lamborghini.
Yeah, and you get these you get these sprites, these really nice pixel art of the cars when you're choosing them, of like this Lamborghini or this convertible. But then when you actually see them on the track, displayed in all their polygonal greatness, they all look exactly the same. It's just one's yellow,
we're all driving
one's
board
blue.
cubes.
Yeah, you are driving the board cube, and I think that's just everything about this game is so unimpressive and bland. It is.
What about when you get to enter your initials on the winner screen?
Oh, yeah.
Join the ranks of the other hardest drivers.
Phantom Photon.
Leadfoot. Footloose.
Was it Can't Drive 55? Or there's a reference to I Can't Drive 55.
No 55.
No 55.
Yeah. Johnny 5 alive. No 55. Yeah. It's bad.
There's just no personality to this. There's no frills. I mean, it's the gaming equivalent of the name itself.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, they nailed it. They named it properly.
I don't think the game could render anything other than the track. So, like, it couldn't render personality. Like, there was no room for music, personality,
Like Matt's girlfriend. Couldn't render personality.
It's so bad. It is the glove. It's so bad.
I don't know if this will give anybody a frame of reference or context to how this game looks, but when I was a kid, when I was probably about 7 or 8, my dad had Microsoft Flight Simulator 88 or whatever. It was like 3. Flight Simulator 3. And it's like, this game reminds me of that flight simulator so much, because the way that flight simulator worked was pretty much like you have a horizon and it's green, below that horizon line, and then it's like blue or black above that, depending on like what time of day it is. That
Sweet.
Yeah.
See what time of day it is?
And it's like if you
Breath of Fire did that too.
if you crashed, your windshield would crack. And I remember that distinctly because that's what I would play that game for. And like when my dad wasn't like there taking it seriously, I was on
If
it.
you tried to crash, he'd yell at you.
No, it was just like he was trying to learn and I was just trying to crash an airplane. So it's like, yeah, that crash, whenever you would crash, instead of it being like this big spectacle, the windshield would just go and like show cracks in it, like Henry's iPad. And that is what happens when you crash in this game. Like there's this disconnect in race driving from like for the first person crash where it's like your windshield breaks to the bird's eye view of the car exploding in a fiery splort.
Erupting in reddish mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's such a shitty part of the game that's like it's really hard to get used to. Is they have these stunt tracks with these really cool jumps that you're not allowed to take, because if you take the jumps too fast, you crash. You have to take them at the right speed so that you will hit them and then come down on the other side at the right angle. If you hit them too fast, then you fly over, like as you would in an actual car. Again, this is a simulation. We're trying to be as realistic as possible here.
Yeah.
So if you take it too fast, then you shoot over the landing area and you just land nose first and crash.
That is, weirdly enough, that is my favorite part of this game.
Yeah?
Yeah, because what I discovered last night when I was playing it was, like, usually when I'm playing a racing game, I don't want to think about gears. I don't want to think about shifting gears. It's like Dogma. Gear? Like, I want auto. I want to press a button and the car go. But like in this game, I thought it was really cool to be like, oh, so when I go over a jump, I have to take speed into account so that I don't crash. I feel like that offered me a thing that I wasn't used to. That was new to me, weirdly enough. That was new. And because it was new, it was kind of fun to figure out, okay, if I go over this ramp in second gear, I'm not going to be going fast enough to crash. I'm going to land it the way I need to land
However,
it.
if you go over it in Metal Gear, totally different experience.
Crazy different. So I like that. I thought that was neat. That's probably old hat to a lot of people, though. I think that there is fun to be had in this game, but I do think it's the same kind of fun, like the same like jolt of Schadenfreude you get when you're watching a movie that is unintentionally bad. It gave me that kind of feeling.
It's what in the Twitch feed, everybody kept saying this is the Super Nintendo's Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah, Doc mentioned, this is Manos, Hands of the Fate for the Super Nintendo, and it's true. I mean, it's like this one definitely felt so bad that it came around to funny, not around to good. It came around to funny, where I feel like Road Riot was just so frustrating because it's like, I can see a semblance of a game here. It's just not coming together. Race driving is just like, what is going on? There are 3 courses that you select. You're not racing against anybody. You can't tell what is happening. You're racing at 3 frames per second. I mean, it is just, and the frame rate, the best thing about the frame rate is that it is variable. It's like they made the decision where it's like, well, there's not a whole bunch of things on the screen. Should we make the frame rate consistent to when there are a bunch of things on the screen? No, let's not do that. So it's going to seem like you're going really, really, really fast until there's a barn, and then it's going to feel like you're going really slow. You are going the same speed.
But I mean, it's like a lesson in life. Like, slow down and appreciate the barn.
Right, yeah. Live in the moment.
Why are you going so fast, man? Slow down.
Why don't you pull over? See if you can tear that barn down for that reclaimed wood.
Why don't you have a burger over here at Sam's, over at the diner?
Grill up that cow you just hit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you guys have any achievements for this game?
No, but I did come up with one on the fly, which I think has probably been an achievement before, but I will bring it back. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it, which you have to.
Please do.
You get that when you crash on the loop-de-loop and have to put it in reverse, back up, and then it gets full acceleration to complete it.
Damn it, I had that achievement, but I called it my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack. Because the windshield cracks.
Nice.
Were there any good Twitch achievement or Twitch achievements?
Yeah, I've got there were a lot of achievements, believe it or not. And a lot of them did involve turning the game off. But these are my favorites that came through from Twitch chat. The first one is shifting up. And in order to unlock shifting up, you quit playing race driving and play an older game with higher frames per second, like Outrun, or Pole Position, or Super Sprint, or Rad Racer, or RC Pro Am, or Night Driver, or Iron Man Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road, and then P. Willie Eaton, I assume, ran out of space. Because
Iron Man Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road was a huge game, and that's a game that I think the console port did reasonably well. It's not great, but I have that game. I'm looking forward to when you guys pull it up. It's a fun one.
I played that in the arcade. I don't know that I've played it on the Super Nintendo. I didn't know that it was on the Super Nintendo. That's actually good news.
You can't really replace like the 3-player. Everyone's got a steering wheel and are driving against each other.
The tiny steering wheel. Next achievement I've got is Short Circuit. In order to unlock Short Circuit, you go off-road to avoid the obstacles that are supposed to be the fun part, which I totally did multiple times. Also, like, if you go off-road, you have 10 seconds to get back on the road, or you are, as Zal put it, lakitude back onto the track. But there's no indication that it's happening. It's like the screen just goes black for like 3 seconds, for like an uncomfortably long period of time, and then you reappear on the road. But you can totally like take shortcuts. Like if you like, I don't want to take that curve up there. I'm just going to drive across. As long as I can make it to that other piece of road in 10 seconds, I'm good. It's a lot like Alan Wake in that way, where you're like racing from like lamplight to lamplight.
Gotta get that light.
Right.
All right. Dodge. Cinematic slow down, dodge.
Dodge Impala, Dodge Charger.
Dodge Dart.
Dodge Ram. The Dodge Ram mobile racing game.
Perfect.
And that one came in from Bubba Drewski, Short Circuit. The next achievement I have is Do Not Resuscitate. In order to unlock Do Not Resuscitate, notice on the dashboard on the right side of the screen in the demo says Auto DNR. And then play a race and realize that doesn't mean drive, neutral, and reverse. And that came in from GameBud Prime Nate. And then the last one I have is Force of Habit. In order to unlock Force of Habit, while playing Race Drivin', put a piece of tape over the check engine light. And that one came in from Bovine Bear Matt. I like that one a lot. Tyler, do you have any?
I've got one. Inside Out Polygon Boy. And you unlock Inside Out Polygon Boy by going through the loop-de-loop, going all the way over. I don't know, because it's fucking weird and hard.
That's what they should have named the game.
Weird and hard.
Weird, apostrophe in, apostrophe
weird
hard.
driving.
Yeah.
There was a prototype sequel to this called Street Drivin' that never got released. Part of the hard driving, race driving, street driving trilogy.
So was there, okay, so I thought that there was, okay, this is going to sound crazy. I thought that it was hard driving was the first game, race driving was the second game, and then hard driving 2
hard
was the third
driving
game.
Airborne is what I read. Or what I saw, which lets you turn your car into a plane at certain parts of the racetrack and fly around.
They really let go of that simulation at that point, right?
I feel like there needs to be an achievement that is just as bland as the name itself, just called Video Game Achievement.
Yeah. Race driving achievement.
Game reward.
Tyler, would you... Dave, you may have already seen this link, but would you believe that this game started out as a driver's ed simulation?
Oh, 100%. That makes total sense. That makes 100% sense.
This is all from a 15-minute YouTube video that I saw. But yeah, according to this video, this game started out as a driver's ed sim that couldn't be sold to anyone because no one's going to pay $10,000 for a driver's ed sim. So they tried to rework it into a gaming cabinet.
And I guess it kind of makes sense with like the whole like me getting the flight sim vibes from it too, because I mean, and
the ignition
honestly,
and the
like
clutch and stalling out and all that stuff, like that makes sense.
And it did teach me about shifting gears, even though I've driven a manual car for years. I was doing it all wrong. Now I just know how to do it in loop-de-loops. So next time I get another Celica, man, I'm gonna take
time to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it out to Action Park or whatever. Get me some teeth finally.
Do you remember the water park that was in Draffinville? Have you ever heard about that?
In Draffinville? No.
Yeah, there was a water. There was actual in that little ass town of Draffinville up the road. There was a water park called Wonder Waters.
How big was it?
I mean, it had 6 or 7 rides. The big thing was on the hill beside it. It had the whole side of this enormous hill were these.
Oh, where they buried all the radioactive waste?
Right. It was like these slides built into the ground. So they were flush with the ground, but then there's like the slide built in. You would have like these burlap sacks that you would ride down. If you didn't do a burlap sack, you get really hot. And there were all these like weird little where the sections were conjoined.
Connect.
Yeah.
You lose some skin on those.
Yeah, they had that at Action Park, only they were much longer and much steeper, and people would just come off them and have horrible accidents.
I remember being like maybe 10 years old and going to a water park with my aunt and my cousins. And I remember going down a water slide and like my arm coming loose because you're supposed to like cross your arms.
Yep.
My arm coming loose and like getting caught on the side of the slide. And just like a good last quarter of the way down, just burning my just all of my skin on my arm.
We don't need that first 2 layers of skin, David. We'll keep that as fun time tags.
Yeah, it was bloody. Like, I mean, it was like I've still got a scar from it for like the skin just burned right off. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, I stayed there though. Yeah, because it was like the second ride. It's like, nope, not. I'm just gonna bleed.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
The rest of the day, just
the chlorine will clean it out.
Right. Look, man, if they're okay with 18 Band-Aids floating around,
I'll just grab one of these. Yeah, they're free.
Slap it on.
Phil, what skin have you lost?
My foreskin.
All right, there you go.
Also on the water slide. got stuck on the side.
We'll save that for Tubin when you guys do that episode.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I have some questions for you. And you too, Phil.
Okay.
I'm curious, if you were to buy Race Drivin loose for the Super Nintendo, how much do you think that you would pay for it? I feel like this is unfair because Phil literally just bought this game, as did I.
So it's cheap.
There's a hint.
Let me look up how much I paid for it.
Let's see. Yeah, let's turn this into a did Phil get a good deal or a bad deal?
$1.
Final answer? Good answer. Good answer.
$1.
Show me $1.
Oh, I'm on Amazon. I think I bought it off of eBay. I'm not gonna take the time to look it up. I think I paid like $6.50 for this.
You fool.
Oh, I know. I feel like I'm owed money.
You're Gilbert Gottfried, you fool!
Actual retail value of Race Drivin loose for the Super Nintendo on average, according to pricecharting.com at the time of this recording, is $5. Phil, I also overpaid, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
I really wanted it. I really wanted it. I did. I saw before I bought it. I watched a YouTube, like 3 seconds of a YouTube playthrough, and I was like, "Yeah, I want this.
I gotta play this on original hardware for everybody."
Yep, totally, absolutely. This is one of the okay. So I'm glad you said that because this is totally one of those games where if you're playing this on an emulator, you're like, "Oh, this emulator's messed up."
Oh shit, let me find another one.
Yeah, let me check my settings, download another ROM of this. I don't know, it's weird. It keeps doing this 1 to 3 frames per second thing.
I just built this computer.
Speaking of emulation, Big Dick Pie Baker Chris Vaughn mentioned that he loaded this up in an emulator and then did like the speed up in the emulator to like smooth the frames. He said it was actually pretty playable and not horrible, which I could believe.
If you fast forward to 25, 30 years from when it came out, then
it's perfect.
And put it through modern technology, like it's okay.
But see, it's also one of those things where it's like, so earlier I was like, this game desperately needs a Super FX chip. But it's also one of those where it's like, it would never, like Atari would never pay for a Super FX chip because they got to pay Nintendo for that.
Yep.
And that was the whole Tengen stuff where it's just like, no, we're going to make our own cartridges because yours are too expensive.
You know how much all those backhoes cost to bury the ET cartridges? Nah, we ain't paying for shit.
Not cheap. Actually, the Mafia did that for us as a favor.
Thank God for the Mafia.
Was the Super FX chip available by the time this came out? Was that like a launch day thing, or
I don't know. I'm trying to think when Star Fox came out. I think Star Fox might have been 93, so that would have been after this game. I don't know if it would have been possible, but it doesn't change the fact that it desperately needs one.
So bad, so bad.
Let's see. Actually, I'm curious. Yeah, Star Fox did come out in 93. Which I believe was the first Super Nintendo game to utilize it. So,
and to be fair, let's put blame where it lies. THQ did the Super Nintendo version.
THQ distributed it. Yeah. I believe Tengen. I believe that Tengen developed it, and I think THQ distributed it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, I mean, that's not to say that they're blameless. You know, they just can't say we were just following orders. I mean, they knew what they were doing.
In like the title game, the car on there has a THQ license plate on it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that.
Well, a T, then a space, HQ.
Yeah. This license plate does not depict the quality of this game. It is, in fact, low quality. It's an LQ, not an HQ. Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
This question's just for you. If you were to give Race Drivin for the Super Nintendo a beard that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of beard would that be?
I would give it the stiff,
hard,
blood, stiff, hard,
rigid driving,
blood-soaked and dried fur of the possum that dropped down and hit that windshield
on Sparkster.
I
believe. Yeah, excellent. That engorged possum.
Yeah.
Engorged,
the bloated, engorged possum.
Turgid.
Full of wasp babies.
Man, now I'm going to worry about that. I'm going to have anxiety driving home. It's like, man, I hope I don't hit a possum and it explodes into hornets.
Yeah. Murder hornets that like half an inch comes through your windshield of their stingers.
That's like Weapon X hornets. I don't like that. They like gave up on human. They're like, you know what? This modifying human thing is like really dangerous. Why don't we start smaller with bugs?
Yeah, perfect. Everybody loves bugs.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, that sums up how you feel about it. What kind of glasses would it be?
It is the windshield wiper smeared blood windshield trying to get home after hitting the possum from the Sparkster episode.
Fun fact that I just discovered. We were talking about the Super FX chip. Argonaut Software developed the Game Boy version of this game. And those are the Star Fox people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's something going on there. Maybe this was the game where like they're like, yo, we gotta fix this.
What if? All right. Well, clearly it'd be better without the ground, right? Oh yeah, yeah.
And with
Well, how do we do that?
like animals are driving the cars, right?
Give us a personality. It's got no personality. So animals driving without the ground.
Do they need legs? Never.
No.
Well, they'll pass out. If they have legs. Cut them off.
Any final thoughts? Does this game belong on TADPOG's top 100 SNES games?
Nope.
Nope.
Does it belong on, as of December 2nd, 2020, on TADPOG's top 10 worst Super Nintendo games?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I know we've already done this,
Mm-hmm.
but because we're talking about worst games,
Mm-hmm.
I want to get it all out of the system. Is this game worse than Home Improvement?
Yes.
It is. I agree. I think it's technically worse. I'd rather play Race Drivin' than Home Improvement. Is this game worse than Bebe's Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Is this game worse than Cool World?
Yes.
I agree as well. Okay.
You can ask me that. I'm going to say yes to every game but one. Street Hockey
Street Hockey
95.
95. Nasty slaps.
I think that's the worst Super Nintendo game as of today.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe I'd like it better if I liked hockey, but still, it's like that game is just a mess. I didn't know what was going on ever.
Never at any point. At least I knew I was something going down a space.
All right. Would you like to know what the Ultimate Nintendo Guide to the SNES Library 1991 through 1998 by Pat Contry, courtesy of Master Mold Mike, gave
let's see.
this game, Race Drivin'? They gave it 1 star.
All right.
1 star.
1 star for every frame per second.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. I feel like that's apt.
Yeah. All right. We're in rare agreement, Flopsy.
Yeah.
Well, before we get any further, I'm interested to see because I want to know. I'll grab this batter up peripheral real quick.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to put one end on the ground, my head on the other end, Wild and Crazy Kid style, so I can point my no-no hole in a random direction.
Mm-hmm.
And while I do this, say the prayer we all love to say.
Please.
Was that a try prayer?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
Triple tech.
Oh, man.
Triple tech prayer to the Dark Lord.
Have fun.
No whammies. Stop.
Have fun matching that up in post, Dave.
I'm not going to try. Are you kidding me? 95.
Ooh.
That's probably the C's.
It's a B.
Correct.
Oh.
It is the C's.
Club driving.
Oh, man. How mad would you be?
I'd be real mad.
I don't think you're going to be too much. I don't know what this game is, so I don't know. We can maybe guess.
Okay.
Carrier Aces.
Carrier Aces.
Sounds like a flying game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phil, are you familiar?
Nope. But
okay. Carrier Aces.
That's got to be a flying game.
Has to be. Probably
I'd
horrible.
hope so. Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely horrible.
Is it UN Squadron? No, it's Carrier Aces, so it's probably not good.
It might be a poker game.
Ooh, yeah. That's Carrier Aces Wild. I do have some more questions
Come on.
that come in from one Ross Rachel Green from across the pond. Ross sent a quiz in entitled "Fuck You, THQ." Ross begins. Holy fuck. I've seen some shitty looking games in the past, but watching some of the recorded footage from the stream is painful. Not only is it like playing through a letterbox / mail slot for you heathens, the 4 frames per second is just ass. I feel like you're being generous.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a slow news day here, so let me tell you a story about little Ross. I mean younger me, not my penis, so this affects both. When I was a child, here we go. My foreskin was fused to my glands / bell end.
Ooh.
Doctor said it would get better on its own, which it eventually did, but that my mother had to keep an eye on it. Should have taken him to the water park. Being a child of about 5 or 6, I didn't want to show my mother my penis, aka Little Ross.
Yeah.
So the only way she could get me to show her was by bribing me with chocolate. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Oh, man.
You can find the show on iTunes and Stitcher.
It's only weird if it's a stranger. It's fine. It's a family member.
It's worse if it's a family member.
Show me your wee penis, Ross. Oi, boy. Here's a chocolate if you show me your knob.
Show me your snorkel.
Let me see your stick skin on your knob. Looks like your penis licked a cold pole.
Oh, you poor Ross.
You gonna have 3 nuts is what you gonna have, boy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What kind of chocolate was it?
Sucker, you show me your balls for free.
You didn't give him any chocolate?
I'm gonna just ate the chocolate while I looked at your balls.
Oh, my God. Ross continues. Cut to my classroom at school when my teacher asked me what I did that weekend. You can guess what I told her. That prompted a phone call to my mother and a trip to the school with medical records. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Okay, also.
Oh, your very own Gary stuck his finger in my butthole story. Wonderful.
Ross continues. Also, people here are rarely circumcised unless it's medical or religious. Well, I'd say that qualifies for one of those. It's weird you guys cut babies' cocks off for the fun of it. It's not the whole cock.
It's not?
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Siri, call my moil.
I'm just skin.
You're like the pork rind of penises.
The soft pork rind.
The cock crackling.
Yeah, nice.
Ross concludes, so SNES games published by THQ in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Shall we begin?
Mm-hmm.
First question. This game features cartoon characters from Frostbite Falls collecting stolen artifacts.
From Frostbite Falls.
Frostbite Falls.
No idea.
Collecting stolen artifacts. These are Super Nintendo games by THQ or just games?
These are Super Nintendo games, yes.
Alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, yes. Although I don't know I don't know what letter we're starting on. Frostbite Falls. Alive? A Super Nintendo cannibalism game?
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, locking it in. It is, in fact, Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, comma, the. We were close. That's close. Next question. This game sees you playing against professional sportsmen such as Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Sounds like it might be boxing. I've never heard of Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Senior. I'm familiar with Senior, but he worked at Home Depot.
Well, yeah. Famous Home Depot employee, Walter
The
Ray.
guy asked me to show me. He said he'd give me some chocolate if I showed him his penis. And I was like, "What's your name, Mister Walter Wayne Jr.? Fuck off, kid."
Just take the chocolate.
Well, boxing starts with a B.
Boxing or baseball?
Boxing, comma, the.
Boxing, comma, the following the hard racing tradition of naming a game.
The boxing.
The boxing. Locking it in. It is, in fact, a game that I own. But I wouldn't be able to tell you the title of without reading it off the cartridge. Brunswick World Tournament of Champions. I believe that this is a bowling game.
Oh, okay. Man, that's 3 sorts of the B. Okay. And basketball. There's a lot of B sports.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. This game is based on a film in which the current president has a bit part and was awarded the worst movie to game of 1996.
That's
Home Alone 2,
Home Alone
Lost
2.
in New York.
Locking it in. Yes, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Next question. This game is based on a cartoon which was based on a film franchise which was based on a series of novels and stars the nephew of a famous spy. Is that
James Bond Jr.
Yes. Locking it in.
All right.
James Bond Jr. Correct. Next question. This basketball game was the 4th installment of the series and featured Tim Hardaway on the cover. Go, Phil.
4th in the series? Would that be NBA Hang Time? Because there's Jam.
NBA Hang Time. It's either that or like NBA Live, right?
It would be NBA Live because there was Jam, Tournament Edition, Hang Time, and then Live, I want to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Live ended in years. Like it was like NBA, it was kind of like the Madden series. NBA Live. I'm trying to think if it started at 93.
Because I have
It's like
NBA
96, 97.
I have NBA Hang Time, and I think it's just a generic basketball player. I don't think it's actually anybody. So NBA Live.
NBA Live 97.
97.
96?
96 feels right.
It's 69 backwards.
Nice. Ekine. Locking it in. It is, in fact, NBA Live. Ooh, 98. Ooh,
Damn.
98. Yeah, we were wrong. I'm proud of us, though.
Yeah.
So my aunt passed away last week, and I was telling everybody at work because I took off to go to the funeral, and Casey asked me, oh, how old was she? And I said 69, and she went, nice.
Did he offer you
not
chocolate?
making that up. That's a real story.
I'm assuming that you weren't super close.
We were,
I'm
but I can
sorry.
appreciate his joke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Next question. So playing race driving on top of this has been a great week for you.
Yeah. What'd you do this week? My aunt died from COVID. What about you?
Next question. This is a shit fighter with digitized sprites. Pit fighter?
All right, Pit Fighter.
Yeah.
Phil, are you good with that?
P comes after N. Pit Fighter.
All right. Locking it in. It is, in fact, Pit Fighter. Next question. This game was at the top of the SNES shit list until Street Hockey 94 came along. Road Riot 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
Locking it in. Road Riot 4-wheel drive. Correct. Next question. This game stars a mode of transport which took place in a fictional place based on the Isle of Man. A mode of transport.
So, flying, driving, sailing. Is there a sailing Super Nintendo game? Made by
Pirates.
THQ? Pirates?
Yeah, it's going to be after R though. So we're working with S through Z.
Sailing.
Super Pirates.
Sid Meier's Pirates,
Sid Meier's
which I believe is the name of the game.
That is.
I think
you're
it
right.
is. Did it have an SNES release though?
I think it did.
It had
actually.
an NES release, so
I know
why
it had
not?
an NES release.
I think it had an SNES release.
All right. Sid Meier's Pirates, locking it in. It is Thomas and the tank engine in France.
Wow, that's gonna be a fun one to play coming up.
Oh my God. Stars a mode of transport which took place in a fictional place based on the Isle of Man. Oh my God.
Oh.
All right. Next question. This minigame compilation stars two cartoon characters whose motto seems to be based on running away from problems. That is,
Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa.
yeah. What's their game?
Timon and Pumbaa's...
The Lion King.
That would be Lion King,
That'd be
comma
an-
the...
Yeah. And also, The Lion King wasn't a minigame compilation.
Oh.
This is, it's something different. But Timon and
Yeah.
Pumbaa is like, that's on point.
Timon and
Timon and
Pumbaa's Bugnacious Gallery.
Pumbaa presents Mario Party. I'm just going to lock in Timon and Pumbaa. How about that?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It is Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Games. Jungle Games. Never heard of that one. That was probably going to be great. I'm predicting one of the games is how many bugs you can eat before the time runs out.
Yep.
Okay. How long can you survive with a lion before he decides that the bugs are bullshit and he eats you?
Climb logs on a waterfall because fuck you.
There's the Nala Sex Simulator.
Right. The abstinence simulator.
Take a picture with your Game Boy camera and make sexy eyes to seduce Nala.
There's the Elton John music sim in there.
Can you resist the love tonight?
Because I saw a video that Perfect Dark was supposed to have the ability to put your face on the character models. And you were supposed to accomplish that by the N64 transfer pack with the Game Boy camera clipped into it.
Interesting. I didn't know that. And it never came to fruition?
Never came to fruition.
Were they worried that kids are just going to take photos of their buttholes?
Yep. And have these Cthulhuan cultists with butthole faces running around.
There was probably the last Madden game that I owned allowed you to get facial pictures and upload them to your created character. And I created a Bill Cosby. This was pre-rape allegation Bill Cosby because his Cosby Show character, he was nicknamed the Combustible Huxtable.
Yeah.
Because of how fast he was. So we made him a running back and nicknamed him the Combustible Huxtable. And it was really great until it came out that he raped a lot of people.
Until he raped a bunch of women, yeah. Yeah, that part sucks.
That kind of killed the Madden franchise for me.
Yeah. Citation needed. Next question. This game is based on a film which is based on an SNL skit and had basically nothing to do with either. Has to be Wayne's World.
Yep.
Locking it in. It is Wayne's World.
Or Massive Head Wound Harry's racing game.
Toots is the cat.
Oh man, that's good.
Last question.
Sensitive naked guys painting simulator.
There's a mini game where you drop your keys in lava and decide whether or not you're going to try to get them to drive or not. And then you have to try to open the door while holding two sacks.
Someone's coming to ask you to do something. You have to pick up sacks real quick.
Last question.
You're on fire. Do you look in a mirror or not? Yes, no.
I'd play this game. It sounds pretty great, actually. Last question. Like all weeb anime fantasies, you die and are given the chance to reincarnate in a video game. You can choose to be the hero who suffers, triumphs, and ultimately becomes obscure, or the villain who lives in luxury on others' suffering and eventually gets killed. Who do you become?
I mean, if you're eventually going to die, then you're shortchanging everything. It's just...
I don't know. You want to have a good time before you die or not?
Well, do you want to have a full life, or do you want a burst of glory?
But it's a video game anime. Doesn't matter.
If it's a video game anime, then you're definitely going to get rewarded in the end.
Agreed.
So yeah, got to be the hero then.
Probably best to wait it out.
Yeah. Just have a little patience. It's fine.
Phil?
Can I become the mayor from SimCity?
Of course.
Okay. That's how I choose.
I thought that was a given.
That's what I choose. I choose Super Nintendo SimCity mayor complete with green hair.
Man, I'm trying to remember his name and I'm ashamed that I can't. Oh well. Ross says, I think I would still go hero because there must be loads of money in promotion and merch, and you don't get killed by a plucky young peasant and his scantily clad partners. And that's it. That is the end of the quiz.
Good quiz, Ross.
Ross, excellent quiz.
Good story, good quiz.
Excellent quiz. Sorry about the chocolate.
These were all
Sorry about your penis.
Yeah. These were all THQ games?
These were all THQ games, yep.
Was there any good one in that list?
Depends if you like NBA Live or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where I stand on that. Yeah, and I've heard Wayne's World is awful. I never played it, but I've heard it's awful.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't played that.
What could you possibly do in a Wayne's World video game?
It's a weird platformer.
God.
Is it a weird platformer?
Mm.
Do you collect swings or?
That's your screen clear move.
Okay.
Oh my
Does it
God.
only work on babes?
I think it works on everything.
All right, I like it. Progressive.
Everything.
Progressive.
Yeah.
All right.
I just looked it up, and it's this grotesquely like big head digitized version of Wayne and Garth on top of these tiny sprites. It is.
Yeah, it's
It
like
is.
Big Hood mode in NBA Jam, only
it was
Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
So
It's
it was
creepy as
definitely
fuck.
originally designed as a Wayne's World game, is what you're telling me. And they definitely didn't modify sprites to make it a Wayne's World
They
game.
definitely didn't have a platformer where you were big head John Stockton and Karl Malone from NBA Jam.
Wow. Okay, well, it's good to know that there might be worse ones out there. I feel like every few weeks you delve the bottom and find something that really reaches a new low. And right now it feels like this might be it, or this might be among the top two. But you know what? There's 400 plus games that you guys haven't played yet. So
It could get worse.
Well, yeah, we haven't played Pit Fighter yet.
mhm.
Nope.
We haven't played Wizard of Oz yet. These are two that are notoriously bad SNES games. Will they be worse?
I own Wizard of Oz, and I've heard, because I heard how terrible it was, and I've only played it like once or twice.
So you're also a man of culture.
And I don't. I feel like it's kind of like the Final Fight syndrome for the top 100. That it was picked because it's an IP that people know, but there's probably a lot worse games out there than Wizard of Oz.
Like ones that no one knows, like race driving.
Like Race Drivin'.
Well, that's all we got.
That's
That's
it.
it.
We're out of content.
Yeah.
Our-
Thanks for coming on, Phil.
Our content light on our dashboard is flashing. I'm sorry. We have to end the show.
Thank you for having me. I feel bad I can't come back here for Carrier Aces. I have no history with Carrier Aces.
That's
But-
fine. You want to come back?
If you want to, so I'm kind of booked next week. Actually, I'm
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
bit of a popular guest host here. The Experience Grind folks are doing Action Movie December, and I am so pumped to be able to join them for Bloodsport, which is one of my
Oh,
favorite
damn.
action movies by far. So,
Also one of Donald Trump's favorites.
Really?
Yeah. He fast forwards through all the other parts that aren't fighting. But yeah, I read that article on Reddit
What?
about how much he just loves the fight scenes in Bloodsport.
No, wait. He fast forwarded to the fight scenes or through them?
to the fight
them.
scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, I mean, honestly, that seems like probably the way to watch. I've never seen it, but that seems like the way to watch
Oh man, Bloodsport is good.
the entire movie is about a fighting tournament. There's barely anything that's not fighting in it.
it. Yeah. I guess I'd rather play Mortal Kombat. I don't know.
It's got some pretty Mortal Kombat-esque characters in it.
I mean, when did it come out in regards to like in context to Mortal Kombat?
Late 80s, mid 80s?
Yeah, I figured it predated Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
1988.
The ladies.
The ladies' night.
Feel all right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Next week, we'll be talking about Carrier Aces.
Aces.
Carry or Aces.
How many aces can we carry?
Carrie
Find
Bradshaw or somebody named Ace. I'm going with somebody named Ace.
Carrie Elwes. Carrie Grant.
Ace Frehley?
Carrie from the mistranslation of Final Fantasy 1. Oh, I also want to mention Pixel Star 07. Put a link on her Etsy page. Makes some wonderful posters that I ordered. I ordered the Zelda one, the Final Fantasy, and the Castlevania, and she breaks down all of the individual character sprites and enemy sprites. It's a very, very cool poster. She doesn't do a whole lot, but wonderful. I've got all three of them up in my office right now at work.
Nice. So you decided to do all three.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
I'm looking her up. I'm looking her up right now. Those posters are $19.99. They fit in perfectly within the Secret Santa price range.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
And I can
The Final Fantasy one especially, I think, is wonderful.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Yeah, because the Final Fantasy one is a full size, like movie size poster. The Zelda one's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And whenever I conversed with her, she said she was working on a Metroid one.
Yeah,
I've seen the Metroid one on Reddit, I think. So if I don't know if it was hers or not, but I've seen one that was very similar to the ones that you have.
Yeah.
But it was for Metroid or Super Metroid. I can't remember.
I see Super Metroid on her webpage. So yeah, check it out.
Let's see. Carrier Aces. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
You want to help us out? You go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review.
That would be nice.
You could throw a game in there. We're going to finish the Super Nintendo list at some point, so include a game on there. We'll get to it eventually.
In 10 plus years.
Yeah. Do you like us? You want a shirt about stuff from our show? There's shirts.tadpog.com.
Yes.
You can rock a mask, mask.tadpog.com.
Yes.
We're also on Instagram and Twitter, tadpog_podcast.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook, so just Tadpog, where there's episode announcements and memes, funny memes for you to laugh at and share and your friends to see. And then there's
I don't understand the tone at the end of that.
Just you share them with your friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotta catch them all. And then, but if you like that dank humor, you want to see the stuff you don't want your grandma to see, well, come on over to Tadpog Nation.
Yeah.
But then do you like your chat organized into strict topics for good little people of all genders and beliefs? Then that's on our Discord.
It is.
What's the Discord link on that?
bit.ly/Tadpog Discord.
Let's see. What else did we do? Do you want to send us something? Like an intro so we have something to open?
And we do have two more things. I didn't bring them because I knew we had Phil, who wasn't here in the studio to enjoy the opening with us. So
exactly. I'm fine if you guys do that in future episodes. I enjoy listening to it. It's like I'm there. It's a live episode that I'm listening to. So
like a little treat.
Yeah.
We can have a live episode as a treat.
As a treat. That's Tadpog Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. You want to call us? We got some voicemail stuff in the works, maybe sometime.
I want to do that as a Patreon. I want to do an all calls Patreon episode.
Sounds good. That's 270-883-2555.
I stream on Twitch on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Come find out what Carrier Aces is all about on Sunday. That's Tadpog_podcast.
Then most importantly, we got this Patreon.
We do. We have a little Patreon.
I like the Cajun boy inflection on there.
Patreon. Onion. Patreon. Masturbation.
Asphyxiation.
Race drive on.
All right, we got to redo this episode.
Crazy big boost by Cousin David. Thank you very much, Cousin David.
Thank you, Cousin David. Also, a few weeks back, we missed Cthusiast Jeff. Cthusiast Jeff,
oh, we did?
He upped his donation, but I think it was obscured by the bounty that he... Because when he reduced his amount from the bounty, we didn't realize that it was at a higher amount than when it was before the bounty.
Gotcha.
So it was a significant increase.
Sorry, Cthusiast Jeff. I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. We appreciate the support. If you would like to join the few, the proud, those who fight monsters on a giant chessboard and make them explode, you can join the Marines. But if you want to give us money, you can do that at patreon.com/Tadpog. This episode was executive produced by the following people who donate to us at $20 or more a month. You Super Grim, God Emperor Alex Pena, Cthusiast Jeff Miners, Cousin David Galino, Platinum member Brett Miller, Coronavirus Savior Cubicle Monkey, Zeus Laser, Steve Dixon, Cody Phillips, Bantha Master, Plinko Nick Price, Time Lord Josh Edwards, Executive Producer Dig Dougie, Matt Gentile, a.k.a. Gentle G, Magical Sleeper, a.k.a. Big Dick Pie Baker Chris Vaughn, Laud Mulaney Dennis, Pinball Archmage Chris Edler, congratulations on your marriage, sorry you couldn't be on this episode, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins, Drinksmith Joey Webster, Paul Anderson, Master Psycho Baron Kevin Link, Demented Lemming, and Captain Detective Count Victor von Cunnilingus Hart.
Nice.
Thank you guys, you are awesome.
So since you mentioned God Emperor Alex Pena, it
Yes.
reminded me. So last night before I go to bed, I'm on my phone streaming through Facebook, and I see where Alex's brother Andrew, he posts something about the Bears having a very bad season.
I've heard it's been rough.
Mhm.
I've heard it's been a rough one, yeah.
So he's on a thread in his Facebook feed where he's talking about that to somebody. And somebody says, well, who's fucking forcing you to be a Bears fan? And then he posts like, hey, man, calm down. You know, I love the Bears. They're just having a bad season, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, so then I had to reply like, you better not tell anybody that I force you to be a Bears fan. So before I'm about to nod off to sleep and I hear my phone, and I look, and then the guy who got mad then said, Tyler Holland, what? I was like, oh, fuck that guy.
Oh, you just ended it.
I turn my phone, I just black screen it and turn over and go to sleep. I get up early.
Uh-oh.
I get up early this morning to go to work.
Epilogue.
As I'm getting dressed, I get in here at like 6:30 this morning. I grab it. It's the guy again who's in Tyler Holland. What? It's like, oh, okay, block. Poked a crazy bear, apparently. Okay, this is about to get worse.
An anti-bear, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But Andrew seemed to enjoy it, so that's all that matters.
Good. That is truly all that matters. I agree. And I, for one, hope that the Bears have a better season.
Yes.
They're 5-7 right now. They've lost 6 straight games.
Well, our theme song is Moves by 60 Drive. Like that track on shortsthatbug.com. Hey, boys, want to close this out?
As your favorite Chicago Bear.
Perfect. So until next time,
Tropical
Capricorn.
You were literally a bear, right?
I was William the Refrigerator Perry.
I was
That's what I
also-
imagined. I was like a bear, but like had a cold tint to his breath.
But a bear made out of a refrigerator.
I was trying to be Mike Ditka.
It came through. I got it.
Somebody wanted me to do a dramatic reading. I was trying to find it.
How about a dramatic reading of Work It by Missy Elliott? I looked up those lyrics, and boy, they are something. It contains the lyrics. Let me find them.
Just do the reverse parts.
Go downtown and eat it like a vulture.
I'm about to say, keep going. You're doing the dramatic reading.
I'd like to get to know you, so I could show you. Put the pussy on you, like I told you. Give me all your numbers, so I can phone you. Your girl acting stank. Then call me over. Now, not on the bed. Lay me on your sofa. Call before you come. I need to shave my coachina. You do, or you don't, or you will, or you won't. Go downtown and eat it like a vulture. See my hips and my tips, don't you? See my ass and my lips, don't you? Lost a few pounds in my waist for you. This the kind of beat that goes rat-ta-ta, rat-ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta-ta.
Bye, Phil's work friends.